Greetings, Star Wars fans. Whether you like your Boba Fett to be from comic books, from video games, or from movies, or any other kind of media, I am John Edward Lee, and I'm here with another special episode of Universe Expanding Books and Toys. Now, a couple days ago, I did an episode about the exclusive comic-inspired Boba Fett from Target. Guess what? They made two. That was the Dark Horse one that focused on the Cam Kennedy art from the mid-90s. This is something new, and I wanted to share it with you and share it with you where it came from. This is it. The Vintage Collection book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back. There he is, Bosk in the background. There is Dengar peeking over, and a very awesome, marvelly looking splash. And now the Bounty Hunters, which you'll see in just a second. Now, this is an important figure. I honestly, as much as I like the Cam Kennedy one, that's my favorite of the two, this one's important for a very good reason. It is representing the very first comic appearance of Boba Fett. And that's it right here. Issue 42 of the original Marvel series. Easily, except for a couple exceptions, with the exception of some very rare versions of the first issue. Honestly, a first edition version of the first issue doesn't run as much as this issue does. It is easily the most expensive issue. I think maybe issue 107, the final issue, being the last one. So you can see that splash I mentioned right there. And now the Bounty Hunters. This is the Empire Strikes Back adaptation, which took place just within the continuity of the series. What's weird about that is, well, what's not weird about that is the whole series started out with the adaptation of Star Wars, A New Hope. And this one went along with it. But by the time they got to Return of the Jedi, they didn't do that. They didn't want to wait 4 months to, go through that and get this series off track. So they made a 1 through 4 issue. But we're not here to talk about that one. We're here to talk about this one. Although that one does have Boba Fett in it. This is Boba Fett. And I opened my very, very collectible, pretty good edition version just to show you that Boba Fett, as well as Dengar, any other bounty hunters? Nope, just Luke and R2 on Dagobah at the bottom. In their very first appearance. Look at that. It has an ad for a handheld pinball game. I bet that had actual ball in it too and everything. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. As you know, I get distracted by the ads. The ads are my favorite part. So that's the history of that. It has a very unique color style. The comics went a little nuts with the colors. I mean, look at Bosk here. He's got purple on instead of orange. Dengar looks, it's almost like his colors are swapped. He's more like brown wraps and a white outfit. But that's very, very, very similar to the styles of the original adaptation of Star Wars as well. Now, Boba Fett is considered to have his only appearance in that comic in the original Marvel run. And I did a little research before I even started this to see if that's true. I was like, is he really never in anything else? Did they really just put him in the adaptation? And some of you would go, oh, no. There's another one. It's like the fourth most expensive. It has Boba Fett right on the cover. Well, hey, guess what? That's not Boba Fett. That is Fen Shisa. That sounds like the German word for a very bad thing. Anyways, there he is with Dengar. People think that's Boba Fett because obviously he looks very much like Boba Fett, but it's not. Proof in the pudding right there. But this is that issue. Issue number 68. So, the internet was wrong. Boba Fett does appear in this issue. The whole deal with this is that Leia thinks the guy that she's running around with the green Mandalorian armor is Boba Fett. And when she calls him that, he's like, whoa, okay, I get why you think that, but that's not why. Here is Boba Fett right in the middle. Wait. Yeah, it's Boba Fett in the middle. It just doesn't have the Mythosaur skull, but yeah, that's him. No. I'm seeing it backwards. No. It just seems like an amalgam of all of Boba Fett's costumes spread around 3 characters. But Let me read you this, because if you know Clone Wars and what happened with the Mandalorians, this is kind of an interesting thing. Years ago, when I was part of a group of super commandos, and Boba Fett was originally supposed to be a stormtrooper super commando, that's why he is in all white originally, a group of super commandos charged with the ultimate protection of Mandalore, the planet canonized right from the beginning in the original continuity. It was a job I was proud of, but when Palpatine made his move to set up a galactic empire, also this is way before the prequels, the government, Mandalore, sent us into the Clone Wars on the Emperor's side. That also happened. If you remember Clone Wars, there are white Imperial Mandos, also referencing those super commanders, the original appearance of Boba Fett. It was during briefing sessions on Enemies Owe the Empire, because I guess this guy had an Irish accent or something, princess, that I first became acquainted with your comely features. I didn't need to read that part. That was a little weird. Okay, but I do want to read it again because I messed it up. And it was during the briefing sessions on Enemies Owe the Empire, princess, that I first became acquainted with your comely features. Ugh. Why do people always hit on Princess Leia? Anyways, but that is not Boba Fett. But I thought it was important to mention because the Marvel series is a fantastic series. Let's see who wrote these, actually. I meant to look that up before I even started. I'm going on like 6.5 minutes, not too bad. Archie Goodwin, I knew was going to be the writer. Archie Goodwin is an amazing Marvel writer who did a lot of comic strips for Star Wars as well. And Al Williamson and Carlos Garzon as artists, they were very, very common in these. I would bet, I'm willing to bet, I'm not a betting man, I'm no Lando or Han, but I'm willing to bet this is still the same crew, even though they're separated by 20-some issues, which is 2 years. Look at this. You got me going through my expensive comics. Where are the writers on this? Oh, there they are. No, it's a different writer. David Michelini, which makes sense because this is an original story. The other one's the adaptations. Yes, and the art is very different as well. Green Day and Tom Palmer. The only reason I thought it might be them is Archie Goodwin and the crew did a lot of Star Wars comics, and they were really good. But there's a lot of groups who did this. That's what made this an interesting comic book in general. People look over it because they'll see Jackson the Green Rabbit and think that's dumb. That character is not dumb. That character is awesome. And he only shows up in one story arc anyways. It is a very rich and full world for Star Wars to exist in. So I think it's important that they, one, brought this character out, who very much reminds me of the first 4 comic packs that they did with the dual packs, Han and Chewbacca, Tarkin, and I don't know. I don't remember. I don't have those. They're just a little bit more expensive than I want to pay for them because they are off color. But Boba Fett's a more important character to me. So I really needed to have him. So, anyways, thank you for joining me. I'm John Edward Lee. This has been Universe Expanding Books and Toys. I never remember to say this, but please like, subscribe, comment, share this video. If you feel like this knowledge has helped you, it will help another Star Warrior. Thank you so much, and remember that the Force will be with you always.